Rasta man walk down.
Doron Almog's story begins in October 73. The State of Israel was taken by surprise on Yom Kippur to be attacked both from north and south.
The Yom Kippur War, 1973, made a shift in my life. As a matter of fact, I did in my life two commitments. One for the IDF, or to protect my country, and the second one to protect the weakest people in our country. At that time I fought in Sinai. I was 22. I was a paratrooper company commander, and my brother Eran fought in the Golan Heights against mass of Syrian tanks. The rumor said that both of us were killed, me and my brother. That was not the cellular age. At the end of the war, I arrived to telephone, call home. My mother was the first to raise the telephone, and then she was happy to hear that at least one is alive. And after a while, I asked, what about Eran, my brother? She said, we lost Eran. We have no Eran anymore. Eran was left behind. He was bleeding 7 days in the field. He was shot from a Syrian tank from 50 meters. He was flown outside. He was the only one to be flown outside and bleeding 7 days. No one came to evacuate him. I was rageous. I was rageous knowing that he was left behind. I decided to continue in combat unit, and I swore never ever leave a wounded soldier behind.
In 1976, an Air France jet was hijacked and taken from Uganda with dozens of Israeli hostages on board. Israel sent a rescue squad, with Almog the first to get off the plane and the last to climb on board, after killing the kidnappers and releasing the hostages.
And battles continue over and over, and my last year in service was the commander of the Israeli Southern Command. But at that time, in my personal life, I faced another crisis. So our second child was born. We gave him the name of my brother, Eran, and we expected that he would be better than us, a source of pride. And then after a few months, we learned to know that he will never ever be normal. He was diagnosed and declared as something having combination between autism and retardation. It took Didi and me to teach our son, Eran, to take a glass of water from the table, bring it to his lips, and back to the table, 3 years. 3 years, that just to give him independent ability of drinking alone a glass of water, not breaking the glass. Among the parents, I would say it's very well known, there is deep shame. Most of the parents don't dare speaking about it. We decided to love him when he was less than 1 year. We defined love as a commitment. We defined love, Didi and me, as commitment is a psychological contract. It related to the same commitment that I started saying about never ever leaving a wounded soldier in the field. So we decided to build a village for the most severely brain damaged children.
The Almog set on a journey to fund the village, however, had only partial cooperation from the State of Israel that Doron had served so faithfully.
And then I decided to cease my service. And we started collecting money, having fundraisers, events in Washington, in New York. It's not institute. It's a full lifespan for population from 21 and over. And we try in one place, in this village, to collect all kinds of needs, special therapists like hydrotherapy, horse riding therapy, music therapy, to challenge them, to entertain them, to bring them happiness. And test ourselves, when I say happiness, by a smile. To see smiling eyes, they are unable saying thank you.
In 2006, the funding of the Alei Negev village was completed, and the Almogs moved Eran to live there.
At first, we brought him almost every day. We brought him back home. And after about 1 month, he didn't want to get down from my jeep to this home. He didn't want. He just called me and dragged me back to the vehicle, like asking me, "Father, take me back. I want to be with my friends." And the village is working. It's a wonderful place. It's a place that Eran loved. Unfortunately, he passed away from very rare disease when he was 23 years old. But his legacy continued living at me, and his will. And a part of my life is about fulfilling Eran's legacy. We are a society that raises high the banner of excellency. We want to see people who are successful, and we reject people who are unable, the weakest people. If we breach awareness about the place of these children, I think we will make a change.